the thing I think was the most shocking from Dynamite Grand Slam is we have a new Ring of Honor world champion, and it's Chris Jericho. Would you have ever thought in the years and years and years that Ring of Honor has existed, would you ever think Chris Jericho would be the world champion of Ring of Honor?
No, absolutely not. I would not have ever thought that.
Do you think it was a good move to put the title on Chris Jericho?
Number one, I'm not necessarily a fan of them using the Ring of Honor titles on AEW. I've been saying this for a while. I want them to just focus on what's best for AEW. Cesaro, or Claudio, whatever you want to call him, kind of unfortunate. I mean, you think about the message this might send a little bit, right? A guy that leaves WWE because Vince McMahon doesn't believe in him, because he doesn't think he can be that guy. He goes to AEW. He wins what people are considering his first major world championship, only to drop it to a guy like Chris Jericho, who is, if there's a sports entertainer on the whole AEW roster, it's Chris Jericho. Now, from a business standpoint, I guess I understand it. They want Chris Jericho to be the guy in Ring of Honor. Do I think it's going to work? No, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think Ring of Honor is going to do much of anything beyond what it was doing before AEW purchased them, or Tony Khan purchased them. I don't know where they're going with this, other than maybe him and Daniel Garcia feuding over that title, because of what that title means, the pro wrestling prestige behind it, having to shake hands before and after a match, the show of respect. Like, there truly is supposed to be a lot of honor and dignity behind that title. Chris Jericho is the opposite of that, which might play in nicely to the whole Daniel Garcia thing. I'm not quite sure it needed that title. I guess I will wait to see what happens with it before I judge. But yeah, I know I can't say initially out of the gate I'm a fan of this move.
I like the move. I honestly do like the move because, one, I think, if you believe Tony Khan, he's in talks with Warner Brothers Discovery about getting Ring of Honor on a weekly TV basis. And if this is a great negotiating chip, like, you're going to get Chris Jericho on this Ring of Honor, which should draw in viewers. From a storyline perspective, I think this is absolutely great because of the whole dynamic that we've been seeing with Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho, and this whole sports entertainer versus pro wrestler storyline that we've been getting since February of this year, March of this year. I absolutely love it. And I love the hypocrisy of a sports entertainer is not a pro wrestler in this whole thing, because Chris Jericho, who is a pro wrestler, although people might label him as a sports entertainer, is now holding the title, which many make the connection of only pro wrestlers work here. There are no sports entertainers in this promotion. Sure. So it's just proving that no matter what, the sports entertainer, quote unquote, will always beat the pro wrestler, which has been the storyline from the beginning. I absolutely love this. And I love, me personally, up until maybe a month ago, never got connected with Daniel Garcia. This aspect of the storyline now where he's kind of like, no, I'm not a sports entertainer, I'm a pro wrestler. He's kind of conflicted because Jericho led him to popularity and notoriety and, the mainstream. But he still loves guys like Bryan Danielson, who he treated as a hero growing up. And he got to wrestle him. He got to beat him, even though he did it through nefarious means and has that guilty conscience over it. He could not, celebrate with Chris Jericho when he won his match. Chris Jericho then returned the favor when Garcia won that match for the Pure Championship. So I love this storyline. I loved how this storyline has now developed. So I'm excited to see what happens next.
Well, time will tell, but I honestly think that's probably the direction that makes the most sense. Jericho, Daniel Garcia feuding over this title. I'm sure Jericho will cut the perfect promo to kind of explain, whatever is going to come next. And then, we'll see what happens with Claudio. I just hope with Claudio, again, it's just not another guy who got propped up just to be put on the back burner, who, won't have any role really in any prominent role,
and gets ended up on Dark and win a bunch of matches, and all of a sudden he'll get a title match just because he won 20 matches on Dark.